and they gave the ball to the running back, and he bounced it outside to try and go, almost scored a touchdown. I think Kyle Fuller made like a hell of a tackle to a touchdown saving tackle, which forced Detroit to kick a field goal.
Kick that field goal.
Yeah, now looking back on it, that's kind of game changing right there. So shout out to Kyle Fuller.
Yeah,
he had a hell of a game.
Make big plays in big moments, right? National stage.
Former All-Pro right there, baby.
Yeah.
But that was that game there. So really good game. I enjoyed that. The next game, Buffalo traveling to Dallas. I don't know about you. I was shocked by this one.
I was very impressed.
I was impressed too. I would say that as well. Buffalo beat the Dallas Cowboys 26-15. And honestly, they handled them.
Yes, they did.
Like the score was only an 11-point game. It felt like they beat them by like 21.
Yes.
Like they physically outmanned the Dallas Cowboys.
You're absolutely right.
First drive, Cowboys went down. First drive of the game, and boom, scored a touchdown. And it looked like the Bills was kind of struggling to kind of get their offense together in that first quarter. Josh Allen looked a little off. The running game really wasn't that effective in the first. But then it seemed like they kind of got their shit together. And after that, just kind of handled the Cowboys.
Yeah. And I can say that looking at that game, man, the way Dallas moved that ball with ease to start the game, I thought they was going to run away with it,
Yeah.
I figured if they, scored that touchdown and they turned around and scored really quick again, it may have thrown the Buffalo Bills off.
Yeah.
But so shout out to the Buffalo Bills for the simple fact that they took that on the chin and they came right back, Defense, offense, everybody responded very well. They're playing like a team right now.
Buffalo is, this game, I posted it on Facebook last night, actually. That Buffalo win over Dallas has definitely taken Buffalo out of the pretenders slot for me. And I didn't put them as contenders just yet because they got a big game next week against Baltimore coming into town. Now, if there's a fuck around and win that game, then that would make me look at Buffalo like, yo, this team could really do something when the playoffs start.
Well, for me, I'm so impressed by how Baltimore is playing in general.
Right.
That they don't have to. Buffalo doesn't have to win this game. I feel if they make it a drag out fight, where each team is fighting and clawing for every yard.
Yeah.
And they keep it close, and Baltimore win that game. I'm fine with what I see from Buffalo.
Yeah.
If they can do that in this Baltimore Raven game coming up, and they can punch their ticket to the playoff, I'll say I don't think there's any team that really want to see them.
I feel you on that one. Especially with that defense. Buffalo has a championship level defense.
Yes, they do.
Josh Allen, he looked really good this game. This was probably the best game I think I've ever seen him in, honestly.
On the national stage,
stage, yeah.
That's very telling.
On the road.
You down in Dallas.
He looked solid, man. He looked really passes were crisp. He started off a little rocky, but then after that, like I said, he settled in, and you could just tell he just looked comfortable. Like that Dallas pass rush had no effect on him. It was to the point. There was this one play. I'm pretty sure you've seen it where he dropped back, and you know how usually quarterbacks are like bouncing, moving their feet. He just stood there
with conviction.
Stood there for like 3 seconds
and
delivered a dart. I was like, oh shit! Shout out to Buffalo offensive line. First of all, I like the play calling. I like that one play that they drew up with John Brown with the reverse, and he threw the touchdown to Singletary.
That was a sweet play.
That was real nice.
He was wide open too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a sweet play.
That was excellent play calling right there. And speaking of Singletary, he ran hard all game. Him and Frank Gore. They both of them combined had over 100 yards and a touchdown. Or excuse me, no, I'm lying. Josh Allen and Devin Singletary combined had over 100 yards. The one play also with Allen where it was like a fourth down and he fumbled the snap, picked up the ball in the pile, and then went and got the damn first down.
Yes.
I'm like, oh man.
Yes.
How do you let that happen?
Yeah.
And not to bring up bad memories, man, but that kind of reminded me of what Andrew Luck, like years ago when against the Chiefs in the playoff game, when they had fumbled that snap.
Oh, yeah.
Picked it up, and he's able to dive in for that touchdown. That kind of reminded me of that play.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Bills' rookie defensive lineman, Ed Oliver. He was dominant. He dominated that game.
Yeah, he definitely
had
flashed.
2 sacks, and he was just like, and it seemed like he's just in the backfield like almost every other play.
Disruptive force.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. He's been looking real solid over the last couple of games. Period. And then man, shout out to that Buffalo Bills defense. On the other side though, Dallas, and this is pretty much like with all the turmoil going on with Jerry Jones' comments that he was making throughout the week, basically essentially saying like, yo, this is almost a must-win game for Jason Garrett and his team, for him to continue to be our head coach past this season, and it's pretty much Super Bowl or bust. For them to come out and perform like that, not impressed at all. Dak looked shaky. Zeke ran the ball hard, and they only ran it 12 times with him and threw it 49.
And which is kind of crazy when you think of the fact that the game really didn't get out of hand until later on, right?
Right.
Like they were still in the game when you look at the scoreboard. Although Buffalo had made a lot of plays, had a lot of big stops, they were lingering. It was one of those games where you could say, you know what, that team got their tail whooped the entire game, but if they somehow pulled it out at the end of that game, you wouldn't be surprised, right?
Yeah.
But that's not what happened.
Yeah, like, I don't get it, man. Like, Jason Garrett, he's a terrible head coach. You got one of the premier running backs in the league, and he's running well. It's not like they're stopping him.
Questionable play calling.
You know what I'm saying? He's
Yes.
running the ball well, and I like Dak a lot. I think Dak, hopefully he gets his money this offseason. He shows up for big games, but him throwing 49 times is really unnecessary, especially against this Bills defense, where they have one of the best secondaries in the league. Absolutely. You know what I mean? So you got this man throwing 49 times, and you look at his stats, and they're good stats: 355 yards, 2 touchdowns, and only 1 pick. But like you said, that game was never out of hand. It's not like you're down 21 points or 30 or 24, 30 points right there at that point where you got to throw that many. You should have been pounding the ball with Zeke.
And I felt like they should have made that adjustment on offense, right?
Right.
You look at Dak Prescott, the game he had. What jumped out at me is that he seemed like he was under the gun, So with that being said, I felt like they should have did a better job with the timing of their screens, getting the ball out of his hands quick. Because one thing we know for a fact, and you mentioned this earlier, is that Buffalo was playing on the other side of that line.
Yeah.
So when you have a situation like that, you want to see that offensive coordinator and that head coach make that adjustment. How do we get them to slow down? Right? That's the question. And they never answered it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they never answered it.
Yeah, man. Dallas, I said it, I think I said it last week. They about to fuck around and lose that division. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles, if like Philly right now is just injuries.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Philly just hurting. So eventually, if Philly can get healthy and they still have one more game against Dallas, plus their schedule is much easier than what Dallas has.
Yes, it is.
I think Philly's going to win that division, and Dallas letting it happen. Like, they top to bottom, Dallas is one of the most stacked rosters in the NFL. And then you go look at their coaching, and they probably have one of the worst head coaches in the league. So kind of goes hand in hand there.
Yeah, coaching make a difference, man. You're talking about
difference.
them possibly punching their ticket to go to the playoffs, and you're going to look at some of the teams that they're going to be playing, if the Cowboys do go to the playoffs, which they should.
Right.
That division was definitely theirs for the taking this year, especially considering all the injuries you alluded to with the Philadelphia Eagles, right?
Right.
But they've allowed the Philadelphia Eagles to stay in a position where, they can take that division from them. In Philadelphia, from what I saw watching them recent weeks, is that they're misfiring on certain things,
right?
Some drop balls, some
all their receivers are hurt.
Yes,
like I looked at the receiving core the other day. I'm like, who are these guys?
Yes,
I'm like, this is crazy. They got Zach Ertz and pretty much as a tight end, and that's it.
So if they can get healthier, and start making the plays that they should make, which they are capable of.
Yeah,
I think that could be a problem for the Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
And they're going to regret that.
Yeah, they have a prime opportunity to kind of put a fucking stronghold on that division,
and
let it slip through their fingers.
They sure did.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Sorry, Cowboys fans, man, if you listen to this, but it ain't looking too good for you guys. And then last game on Thursday night here was a division game, and another division game, I should say. And this was New Orleans at Atlanta. Turned out to be a better game than what I thought it was going to be, honestly. Even though Atlanta beat the shit out of New Orleans a couple of weeks ago, in New Orleans, albeit, I thought that New Orleans was going to kind of come in and do the same thing to them. But Atlanta stood tough. I mean, obviously they lost 18-26, but they fought like they to the point where they recovered 2 onside kicks or some shit like that.
Yes,
some crazy shit. I'm like, oh shit, that shit don't even happen in Madden.
Yeah,
but yeah, I enjoyed that game. I'm kind of mad that Quadre Olsen didn't play. Niagara Falls kid. Oh, I'd like to see him get some touches there, especially in the Thursday night game. That would have been really dope. Thanksgiving game, I should say. Drew Brees, he looked kind of average. 18 of 30, 184 yards, a touchdown. Didn't really explode off the screen like that. They kept Alvin Kamara pretty much in check for the most part. Yeah, I mean, he had 11 carries for 61 yards.
I saw him get off the stable, a couple times, Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Michael Thomas didn't really go crazy. But
it's one of those divisional games,
This was one of those games where New Orleans defense kind of just paved the way. They was all over Matt Ryan the whole game. I kind of felt bad for the brother after the game, yo.
Yeah, he was under the gun.
He was getting his ass whooped.
Yeah, he saw a lot of pressure.
That was bad, man. He was 9 sacks, I think they racked up on him.
Yeah, he's still sore. Yeah.
Cam Jordan himself had 4. Eesh. And then on top of that, to add fucking injury to insult, the big guy picked him off when he's trying to throw the check down.
Oh, yes.
And then ran and gave him one of the best stiff irons we'll ever see.
That was beautiful. I like to see the big guys mix it up. I will not be stopped by a quarterback
at all.
No,
that was devastating. They called it a block in the back too on Cam Jordan. He ain't even touched Matt Ryan really. That was all the big dude that was running the ball.
Yes. What was it? Chad Ochocinco, blast from the past. He had that one saying, "Child, please." Mm-hmm. That's what came to mind when I saw that. You want to attempt to tackle me, child, please. Mm-hmm. I'm going to lay you down right here and keep it moving.
That was rough, man. It's Matty Ice. Yeah, Falcons' offensive line has been in shambles. Ed was telling me, my co-host on here, he was telling me how like the 2 rookies that they drafted both got hurt like early in the season and then just been patchwork since then.
Yeah, it's very tough when you don't have that continuity, with the big fellas up front, because they definitely work in unison. They need each other, be in constant communication with one another in terms of the protection that's being called, being able to make the reads in terms of what the defense is trying to do. So anytime you have one or more on that offensive line, it's going to present some challenges.
Yeah, that's a big fact there. Calvin really had a decent game. Julio didn't play in this one. Unfortunately, I think he's battling like a shoulder injury or elbow injury, something of that nature there. But overall, the Falcons season at this point, they're pretty much done 3-9. I think they're eliminated from the playoffs at this point. And yeah, they're going to be vying for a high pick this upcoming draft. So maybe they can go ahead and draft somebody and kind of have a turnaround season next year. New Orleans is looking good. 10-2. They're looking like they're going to be heading for one of the top 2 seeds in the NFC and get that home, that playoff bye there for them. So, things are looking good in New Orleans. It's good to be a New Orleans Saints fan right now.
Yes. Wasn't it something that happened with in that Saints game where it was a call made and then what was it? That call was made. Gosh, why am I drawing a blank right now? But you know how they lost the playoff game last year, right? Mm-hmm. There was a call tied in, so they got the rule change,
right? And
then it came back and bite them. Was that this game?
It might have been. If it did happen this game, I missed it.
Yeah,
but it didn't bite them that bad. They didn't lose, and didn't cost them a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
Right? Yeah.
That was tough.
Definitely doesn't have the same type of sting.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's move on to these Sundays games.
Let's do it
because we got some good ones coming up. But this first one here, this one really no meaning whatsoever. New York Jets versus Cincinnati Bengals. If I'm the Bengals, right now they're 0-11. They're starting Andy Dalton. Do you like at this point? Do you even try? Like at this point, you kind of just want to secure that number one pick, right?
That would